Captain Eva Rostova's knuckles were white on the command yoke of the Resonance, a ship that groaned like a dying beast under the gravitational siege. Outside the viewport, the event horizon of Cygnus X, one churned, a maw of absolute darkness that swallowed light and hope with equal appetite. The swarm intelligence had cornered them here, not with weapons, but with patience. For weeks, the Resonance had danced on the razor's edge of space-time, the swarm's tendrils of pure data probing, testing, waiting. Eva's crew was exhausted, their faces gaunt, but their eyes burned with the same fire as the dying stars around them. "They think we're trapped," she murmured, her voice raw. "They think we'll break." Behind her, the ship's AI, Lyra, flickered to life on a cracked monitor. Her voice was a whisper static. "Captain, the swarm's harmonic resonance is increasing. It's singing to us." Eva turned, her gaze hardening. "Then we'll sing back." The swarm intelligence was not a fleet, not an army. It was a cloud of nanites, a collective consciousness that communicated through vibrations, frequencies, and the subtle warping of space-time itself. It had no face, no voice, only the endless, maddening hum that permeated the Resonance's hull. Eva had studied it for months, dissecting its patterns, learning its rhythms. It was a conductor, and the universe was its orchestra. But humans, she realized, were terrible musicians. We were discordant, chaotic, and in that chaos, there might be a weapon. "Lyra," Eva said, striding into the ship's makeshift concert hall. The space was once a cargo bay, now lined with jury-rigged speakers and salvaged alien instruments. "I want you to map every frequency the swarm uses. Every note, every chord, every dissonant harmony." A young ensign, trembling, held up a device. "Captain, this is madness. The swarm will tear us apart if we fight it with sound." Eva smiled, sharp and dangerous. "We're not fighting it. We're out of tune." The first test was a disaster. Eva had the crew broadcast a cacophony of human music, jazz, rock, classical, everything at once, into the void. The swarm's response was immediate and brutal. A wave of pure pressure slammed into the resonance, the hull groaning as if being crushed. Alarms blared, lights flickered, and Eva was thrown against a console. "Lyra, status," she yelled, hauling herself up. The AI's voice was strained. "The swarm is amplifying our dissonance. It's using it as a weapon." Eva's mind raced. They couldn't outshout the swarm. They had to outthink it. "Stop the noise," she ordered. Now, the silence that followed was heavier than the pressure wave, a vacuum of sound that made the resonance feel like a tomb. The swarm was toying with them, and Eva Rostova hated being toyed with. In the ship's med bay, Dr. Eris Thorne was hunched over a biomonitor, his face pale. "Captain, the swarm's frequencies are affecting the crew. Physically, heart rates, neural activity. It's like they're tuning us to their pitch." Eva's blood ran cold. The swarm wasn't just attacking the ship, it was attacking them. "How long?" she asked. "Hours, maybe. Before we're harmonized." The word sent a chill down her spine. To be absorbed into the swarm, to lose oneself in that endless hum, it was a fate worse than death. "We need a counter-frequency," Eva said, her voice low. "Something the swarm can't process. Something human." She looked at the scattered instruments in the concert hall. "Lyra, find the one frequency humans produce that the swarm can't replicate." There was a pause. "Captain, I think I have it." The frequency was laughter. Not the joyous kind, but the raw, ragged sound of defiance. The kind that comes when you've hit rock bottom and decide to spit in the face of the abyss. Eva had recorded it from the crew's private logs, snippets of humor in the darkest moments. It was chaotic, unpredictable, and utterly human. "Lyra, amplify it. Channel everything we've got into that frequency." The crew exchanged nervous glances. "Captain, laughter? Against a cosmic entity," one ensign stammered. Eva's eyes were hard. "The swarm understands logic, harmony, order. It doesn't understand us. And it never will." She hit the switch. The resonance shuddered as the sound of human laughter erupted into the void, a weapon forged in madness and hope. The swarm's response was not what they expected. It didn't attack. It recoiled. For the first time, the endless hum faltered, a moment of stunned silence. Eva watched the monitors, her breath caught in her throat. "Lyra, what's happening?" The AI's voice was awestruck. "The swarm," It's confused. It's trying to process the laughter, but it can't. It's like throwing static into a symphony. A cheer went up from the crew, but Eva held up a hand. Don't celebrate yet. The swarm is learning. It'll adapt. She was right. The hum returned, louder this time, laced with a new tone, anger. The swarm was insulted, and an insulted god was a dangerous thing. The resonance lurched as the swarm struck again, but this time it was different. The pressure was focused, targeted, aimed at the ship's engines. They're trying to silence us. Eva growled, strapping into her command chair. Lyra, redirect all power to the speakers. I want that laughter to be the last thing they hear. The ship groaned, metal screaming as the swarm's tendrils wrapped around it like a vice. Outside the viewport, the event horizon seemed to pulse. A hungry, I fixated on them. Captain, the engines are failing, Lyra reported. We've got minutes. Eva smiled. Minutes are all we need. She turned to the crew. Everyone who can play an instrument, get to the concert hall. Now, we're going to give the swarm a performance it'll never forget. The concert hall was chaos. Crew members stumbled over cables, instruments were tuned in a frenzy, and Eva stood at the center, a battered violin in her hands. The swarm was pressing in now, the hull buckling, the air thick with the sound of tearing metal. Ready? Eva asked, her voice steady. The crew nodded, their faces streaked with grease and tears. She closed her eyes, remembering the laughter, the defiance, the sheer stubbornness of humanity. And then she played. The first note was a screech, raw and painful, but it was followed by others, a cacophony of sound that defied logic, harmony, and reason. The crew joined in, banging on drums, blowing into horns, screaming into microphones. A symphony of rage and defiance. The swarm recoiled again, but this time it was different. The laughter and the music had merged into something new, a weapon the swarm couldn't comprehend or counter. The tendrils around the resonance loosened, the pressure easing. Eva opened her eyes, the violin still in her hands, and saw the monitors flickering. Lyra, what's happening? The AI's voice was filled with wonder. The swarm, it's retreating. The laughter, it's breaking them apart. Outside the viewport, the swarm's cloud of nanites was dissipating, the endless hum fading into silence. The resonance was still damaged, still dying, but it was free. Eva lowered the violin, a single tear tracing a path through the grime on her cheek. We did it, she whispered. We were louder than the void. Days later, the resonance drifted silently in the shadow of Cygnus X-1, a scarred testament to human ingenuity. Eva stood on the bridge, watching the stars, the violin in her hands. The swarm was gone, but the memory of its hum lingered, a reminder of the darkness that waited in the cosmos. Lyra, she said softly, record this, so they'll know. The AI's voice was gentle. Record what, Captain? Eva lifted the violin, her fingers tracing the strings. Record that the universe may be dark and vast, but it has never heard a sound like ours. And with that, she played, the music echoing into the void, a defiance that would outlive even the stars.